Are you looking to overcome a current challenge? Well, I share my approach to challenges when I talk to Elaine Burns, the owner of Home Spa Beauty. My goal is you can take from my journey and apply it to yours, and hopefully it brings you the peace and beauty that you need for your current situation. So have a listen, and I hope this serves you.
Welcome to the Home Spa Beauty podcast. Today I'm speaking with entrepreneur and creator of Soul Balm Sisters, Wani Tubman. We cover a lot in our chat, from what drove her to create the brand, to breaking a tough market and beating the odds in so many different ways. It's really interesting to hear how Wani really did overcome all these challenges and really break barriers when she was told so often that she wouldn't be able to do it. I hope you'll be inspired by our chat. In the words of our website, she's on a mission to make women feel comfortable in their own skin and create the sisterhood she wishes she'd had through her products. I hope you enjoy our chat. Oh, Wani, it's so lovely to speak with you. Your business, I had a look at your website and all the products that you do, and I had a tiny little insight into your backstory. And it is amazing the things that you've done. What made you decide that you wanted to start this company? What was the main motivator?
Um, I would think that for me, I've been sort of a independent type free spirit person, and I've always wanted to do a business, but it wasn't something that I didn't come from like a quote unquote entrepreneur family. My family mostly was like, go get a job and go to college, go get a job. And that was sort of the standard and the path. So it wasn't like today. I feel like today more people are like entrepreneurship, but from you know, for me, it wasn't like that. It was entrepreneurship was just something that most people I knew just didn't do. They just went to college and got a job. And so I didn't I always wanted to do a business, but I didn't. And then as you know, I'm older now, and we're in this era of the internet. And I was very, I went to college and did graduate studies at NYU, and I became involved in the internet economy. And then I saw like sort of, I knew I wanted to do something like this. And a friend of mine, and I wanted to do a product business. A friend of mine was already doing this, was was selling bath bombs, and she was like, "Why don't you do this? Why don't we do this together?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about, bath bombs and anything like that." And I started speaking to my sister, and she was like, "Oh my God, I love baths." And it's like for me, a bath is something that helps me to relax and recharge and just to connect with myself. And that really resonated with me because I always the connecting with yourself and taking care of yourself, that's really important for me, right? And I was like, I always felt like how to help people if I could tap into that, and help other people like have the confidence and what all of that connecting into yourself does. That's the business that I wanted to be in. And so that's how I started Soul Balm Sisters.
And
So
I
it was like a
love that.
balm for your soul.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And the fact that you're saying too, I liked the explanation about the bath being the place where you just de-stress and you relax. I always find it strange when you speak to the occasional person who says they can't enjoy a bath or they don't. And I think, no, they must be in the minority because baths to me they're so relaxing. I think you also recharge. Quite often, I don't know if you're the same, you pick your beautiful product and it's part of the ritual, but sometimes your best ideas come when you're relaxing in the bath.
Exactly. When you're at this relaxed, quiet, self is when your best ideas come. I agree with that. And that's really the motivation.
Yeah,
And
and
I feel like also you leave feeling you leave a better person, right? In my mind. So even if you like, you may be a nasty person, but you go into that bath and you come out and you're almost like a rebirth, like you're become young and fresh and like, okay, I'm excited about whatever. Even if it's just 5 minutes, it lasts. So maybe your dog comes in or your kid comes. It's like, but for that time, you have this sort of, you know, bliss and you reconnect with the inner you, like that part of you that it sometimes gets so hidden and so buried deep down inside of us because we're so like engaged. I don't know if you're a mother, I'm a mother,
No.
but sometimes it's like you're so engaged in like, okay, is he okay? Are they did he eat? You're the last person, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
how do you pour from an empty cup? So I feel like people don't take time to themselves. When business, self-care wasn't like this big trend. But then when, of course, you go into the global pandemic and then you realize the only wealth that we have is our health, right?
Hmm.
And so if you're not taking care of yourself in terms of health, right? And health doesn't only mean preventative, like here's my prescription. Health before you get to the prescriptions, because prescriptions don't actually fix the cause of your problem. It just soothes the symptoms, right? But how did you get there? And I feel like that's the part I want to like help people like you. A lot of that is in your control, right? A lot of this like the stress that you bring that comes from life, you can also de-stress. And how do you do that? That's what my business is for. That's where I get the love and the joy for my business, when I can help other people. And people tell me that's what they experience with my products.
Well, you can tell that just speaking to you right now, you can really tell that it's not just a case of what can I create, what can I sell. You're actually encouraging us to think about our, as you say, our wellness. Um, I suppose the word that I would use would be the sort of holistic healing, where you're looking at yourself as a full entity, the body and the mind. Would you say that,
Yes.
yeah, for yourself, does that make it really exciting when you're coming up with new products and new ideas? Because you're not just thinking, what's the next product to sell to people? You're thinking, what's the next experience that people can have?
Yeah, what they so do a lot of each I mean business, we do a event. We do a lot of events. I mean, of course, for the pandemic, we didn't do events, but now now you're able to go out and talk to your customers and meet and greet them. But we also now sell shower steamers, and in back in 2018 or 2019, I think it was, we had gone to this festival called Essence Festival. It's like held in New Orleans, and a lot of my customers like, I love your products. It smells so good, but I don't do baths. Do you have shower steamers? And I didn't even know what shower steamers were at that time. But I was like, okay, I'll because I innovate and we make our own products. I went back, I figured out a recipe, I sent out samples to some of my customers. They gave me their input. I put it back into the product. I was at the time uh, cosmetic, and I was learning like, what ingredients does what. And if they were saying, for example, it's dissolving so fast, I was like, okay, how do you make it harder? So the feedback from my customer, I put back into my business. And also, it is important to hear from them because I'm trying to help solve their specific problem, right? Which I feel like is also my problem because it's like I'm part of that community.
What I love about what you're telling me too is that you're on the journey with your customer. So it feels really refreshing that you are taking on board what they say, you're making those adjustments. That's not always the case. Sometimes you get brands where they are telling you you have to use this or you should be doing this, but you seem much more flexible as if you want to take the journey with your customers.
Yes, I do. I think it's a big mistake for people to go out and put out products that nobody asks for anyway. First of all, it's costly, and now with the dawn of the internet, and there's so much data out there, and it's easier for you. It's like you don't have to be a big brand to do consumer research, right? You can do it with the 20 people, 10 people, right? You can find correlations. You can ask them questions. You can be in forums. You can listen. There's so much information, data out there that you have access to and that you can learn from people to make things that they're looking for, that they need, and instead of trying to force. Anyway, it doesn't even work if I'm trying to force you. Like, I don't know if you're drinking coffee or tea, but if I'm making you drink coffee and you don't like it, it's like you might do one cup of coffee just to please me because you're like, I don't want to be rude, but
Yes.
you're never going to do it after that.
Yeah,
So
that is so true.
yeah.
And would you say, innovation wise, do you have a sort of rough approximate time that it takes from an idea to the end result? Or can different products take different times? Can some be really quick to get to market, but others take a lot longer?
Yeah, I think true innovation takes long because I do also test my products, right? I also make sure that I my guinea pigs are my friends and my family. So my son is my number one tester. First of all, he loves bath bombs, which he's like an 18-year-old boy that loves bath bombs.
That's good. I like that. That's
And he
good.
loves baths, right? And they won't necessarily say it, but what it is because he's an athlete, and so it's just like a way for him to relax, right? And our young people have a lot of stress, so they may not talk about it because they're on social media, and that's probably a source of a lot of their stress. But he enjoys a bath. But anyway, yes. So I innovation does take time, just because you want to make sure that you're putting stuff out there that is safe for the public to use. It works, right? I use natural ingredients, and ingredients that are derived from natural uh, um, uh, material. And so it is also important that I'm making things that people are going to enjoy, that people will be safe using, and that I feel like because I own my company, it's like I'm not this big corporate thing. It's like I feel it. You know what I mean? When you
Mhm.
buy from me, you're buying from me. You're supporting me, my family. You're
Yeah.
supporting the women that work with me, that have their families as too. You're not like supporting I mean, I love Amazon, don't get me wrong, because Amazon has a lot of things that helps to support my business, but it's a huge corporate machine,
Mhm.
right? So a dollar to them doesn't really make a difference as a dollar to a small business like myself or to you. And so
Yeah.
if there are things that you can do, it's very easy to shop with me in terms of like we're online, we have a lot of like it connects to your PayPal, you can use like so it's very easy that if you can support the small business that's very helpful.
It's so true. And do you still have those moments that really surprise you in the loveliest way when someone will leave feedback or they might
Oh,
even
all
send
the
you an
time.
email? Um, are there any moments that stand out that just completely took you by surprise in the nicest way?
All the time because it's not easy being an entrepreneur or a small business owner. There are days where you know, it's rough. You try to campaign work or seeing the order got in and you're like, why am I? And then a person sends an email and tells you like, oh my God, like your product um did this for me, and I'm like, this is why I do it. It's like it's like This one woman told me my product saved her daughter's life. My bath bomb saved. It's like, what?
That's wow.
I'm trying to even look for one of the like sometimes I mean obviously I save some of the messages, but it's so that makes my day. It really does. And that's one of the joys of owning your, of owning a business. And also like because I made these like the shower steamers, the bath bombs, these are
Yeah.
my recipes. It's like they were never in the earth in the world before. And I
Mhm.
put something in the earth in the world that impacted somebody else. That's powerful to me. You know what I mean? That makes me feel so good about myself, right? That
Yeah.
I'm contributing in this way. I'm not just here to consume, I'm also here to give back. I love
I
it.
like that. That's a really that's a great way to put it, that you're not just consuming, you're putting back. I think a lot of us get too wrapped up in the consuming part. I think that's a really nice way to look at it. And you've also made it very clear to me, and hope to anyone listening, if we love a product, especially if it's an independent, let them know. Just let them know, because sometimes that's just all you needed to hear on a tough month. I
Yeah.
mean, January's not an easy month for anyone that's creating anything. It's a nice month to relax, but it's not a great month compared to the run up to Christmas. So it could be lovely at this time of year if you've had some Christmas gifts to let those independents know. And talking about independence, are you now at that
So
stage? Are you now at that stage where you're starting to plan for the year ahead? Have you got ideas in your head about different products, different creations?
yes, I actually start planning my year in October,
Mhm.
right? Because you have like for my business, we're already planning for February. Valentine's is a big day, Mother's Day is a big day. You have to, we make our stuff. I don't just go buy it. So I also have like we have our core collection in terms of let's say like shower steamers and whatever, but we also come up with special scents for Valentine's or for Mother's Day or whatever. So we do want to have like scents that are in the in the in the time in the spirit of the season. So,
Mhm.
for example, Christmas scents are different than February scents, right? So we do come up with scents for Valentine's are probably food oriented, like loving type of scents, romantic type of scents. So we do plan in advance to make sure that we have all the raw material that we will need. We have our orders ready and like the materials ready and waiting, and then we have plans like how much volume sales and things that we need to 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 make. Um, I'm trying to do more content marketing, which requires also a lot of planning. So that's
Yeah,
something new to my business, and that's something that we are engaging in because I said to you, my business is not just about products, but I want to build this community of women and people who are like these busy women who don't take time for themselves, and maybe you don't need an hour, you don't need whatever, and you can include self-care, or you can include us in moments in your life, like putting a shower steamer in the shower for your 10-minute shower. It matters. It makes a difference than
yeah,
just a regular shower. You don't have to do it every day, but when you do it, you will see the difference. You'll feel the difference in your body. You know what I mean? So
totally.
it's like it's almost like you wake up in the morning, it's like I need to pick me up, but I don't have time for a bath. Pop a shower steamer and see how you're gonna feel. Put on some body oil and see just the idea of touching your body with your hands and massaging yourself, right? That touch. It's saying to yourself, you're okay. It's gonna be okay. I love you. We got this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like I love it. I love it. I don't know if people even take enough time to put body lotion on their body sometimes. People are just like, I'm out. Nope.
It's true. You're right. And I think that's the perfect introduction into your brand. If someone was going onto the website and didn't know where to start because they're so new to all of this, they don't really take any me time, are there 2 or 3 products that you would say, "Right, you don't have a clue, you don't really know a lot about scent, why don't you try this?" So is there maybe 2 or 3 products that you would say, if you're starting from 0, I recommend that you try this?
Yeah, so we have these kits, like we have kits that it's like we have the relaxation kit. And I don't know when this podcast is airing, but if it's in a month or so, we will have this thing called the Good Morning Kit, right? So we're making kits that people feel like, what are you trying to deal with, right? Or what are you trying to, and that's where you start. So it's like the Good Morning Kit is probably going to have a shower steamer, it's going to have a little body butter, and it's going to have, something that gives you a good morning, right? And
Mhm,
then there's going to be the calm and relaxed kit like that. So it's like what and we will have we do these we're putting together like a quiz so that you can just like if you don't know where to start but you know what you like or you know what's happening
mhm,
to you and we're constantly evolving people. We're not static. So I may be sad today but happy tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's like, where are you right now? We have something for you, right? So we will have these part of the content marketing strategy that we have for 2023 is we're going to have these self-care quizzes or these how are you doing quizzes, and then based on that we will recommend our products, but we won't only just recommend our products. One of the big things for me is music, right? I like it. I don't know about you, but when I put on certain music it just switches my mood, right?
yep,
But
uh-huh,
sometimes you don't know what that music is, so we or maybe it's that book, or maybe it's a word, or maybe
mhm,
it's a movie, right? Maybe it's reality TV. Like there's so much, we're so many layers to us as humans. So it's not like we're not one dimensional and only one thing can trigger this whatever we're going. And so we're trying to be more thoughtful and look at the person in a sort of holistic way and be like what, because our goal is we are trying to have kind people in the world. Aren't you just tired of seeing mean, horrible people? So
You are
we're
honestly, you make such a good point. Everyone, the debate is fantastic and points of view are fantastic, but sometimes it is nice just to say, let's not have a debate today. Let's just relax. As you say, go in the bath, chill, pick a
yeah,
really nice product. We don't have to debate everything every day.
right.
I couldn't agree more. And I wanted to finish off because if anyone doesn't know your story, and I don't know your full story, but I
Mhm,
just got a little hint at your bio. I am so impressed at how you constantly pushed towards being told no, being told you can't do this. I think we all experience in our lives being told you're not suitable for this, or I don't think you'll be able to do that. But when I just read into some of the things that you've had to overcome to get to where you are with your
mhm,
brand, hats
mhm.
off to you. So, what would your advice be for people that think there's no point going for my dream or my ambition this year because I just won't achieve it? Or sometimes even speak to people who they think will inspire them. And instead, those people say, "Oh, I don't think that's for you," or put them off. What would your advice be to those people?
I think first of all, write down this makes me so like it's so touching to me because people do tell you no, right? But I think the person that tells you more more the most is yourself, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And you have to get out of your way. So write down your goals, whatever it is, and don't make it as big as you want. Dreaming is free. Nobody's going to charge you, right? Put it in a book and hide it if you don't want somebody to see it or you don't want to talk about it, whatever, and literally protect it, right? And then start think of the steps in terms of breaking down these goals into steps, right? The most important thing is protecting the dream before it's a reality, because when you start to, I learned that when you say, I want to do this or whatever, a lot of times people say, what? You're too old, you're too this, da, da, da. And then you internalize that. At least that's what I did. And then it's
Mm.
almost like, maybe they're right. Da, da, da. So protect it, right? Because right now you're not strong enough, right? You protect your plan in place. You say, okay, what what if I wanted to do this, what do I have what do I have to do, right? And then you go step by step. Sometimes this you and sometimes you'll start going down a path and you'll be like, oh, I'm not really interested. Like I think when I first started my entrepreneur journey, I wanted to be a chef, right? And I said, okay, I'm going to go to work in a restaurant. That was my step. I'm going to work in a restaurant because I actually really like people. I think that's really where all of this comes from. I really want to help people, and so I was like, okay, I'll go work in a restaurant, and I hated it. I was like,
Mm.
your hands smell like fish. It's like this is not
It's
for
not.
me.
I'd rather smell like your products. That'd be nice.
Exactly. I like people, but I don't think I would be a chef. The chef is like not for me. So it was like, okay, but then people kept saying, I thought you said you wanted to be a chef, da, 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 da," and it's like then you have to explain and it's okay. It's not a big thing, but sometimes it makes you feel like, oh, I'm such a failure. I make so protect your dream, write it down, protect it, take steps towards it. You don't have to explain everything to everybody why you're doing what you're doing. But I think that for me, that has been sort of my process. And then also what I've sort of learned. And I feel like now I am always learning. I'm like a constant student. I have to actually tell myself to stop being interested, right? Because I'm interested in so much, because it does take a lot of focus to get what you want, right? So when you have so many things taking away your focus, it takes a longer time to succeed in sort of the one thing, because it's like, imagine you only have, X amount of hours in the day. And so if you're only putting, you're dividing let's say if you have, 5 hours and you have five things and you're only putting 1 hour in each, you're not going to make the impact you want as if you are putting 5 hours in that one thing. So sometimes you have to really like edit and be like, okay, let me focus just on this, because we're all limited in our resources, and resources meaning time, attention, money, and all of that stuff, right? So I think those are some of the lessons that as I have gone through my journey, that has helped me. And then I'm very a spiritual person. I pray, so I also feel like for me, it's like that quiet time where I'm able to like talk to God and be like, this isn't working out, or this is, and journaling and being like, this, what's happening? Should I be doing this? I have doubts. And I always get a sign from him or the universe saying whether, it's going to be okay. Or like I said, I got a letter from a customer, right? Telling me how much I'm doing means so much to them. And so that's part of the process. You have to take the time when you're on, especially if you're trying to transformation is a process, right? And you don't just transform like Wani is a business owner. You have to believe it. Let's say if that's what you want, like you have to be it, then you have to do it, right? But we tell ourselves, oh, I don't like, I might say I want to be a billionaire, but do I really believe it? Do I see it? Am I acting like that? Am I surrounding myself with people that in an environment that actually can help me achieve that, right? When I left Miami, I had this horrible person who was like a really good friend of mine. Like literally every day, like I worked for him. He was amazing in my mind person. But when I was leaving, because he didn't want me to leave, he told me, you're never going to make more than $40,000. He told me it because I was Black, and that, uh, a woman, and I don't know, that it was just
That's,
like I was the best.
yeah.
He was the best. He was the best that I could get. you know? It was so heartbreaking to me that he would say that to me, and then some people believe it, right?
You're so right. Sometimes it can make or break you when someone gives you what they consider truth or feedback. And I think you said it earlier as well, it depends on where your head's at. I'm so
Mhm.
pleased that you took it and turned it and used it almost as rocket fuel to take you where you needed to be. And it's lovely as well that you got a resolution to it, because sometimes we do carry about a horrible negative feedback and we just wear it like a backpack and we never really get over it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it inspires you because you think, I'll show you, I'll show you. But it's nice to know that you actually were able to take that experience and move it on. And I bet your old boss now, I hope anyway, really proud of you and possibly even takes a little bit of credit. You know, sometimes old bosses say, "Oh, I helped you,"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then you're
Yeah,
thinking in
I
your head, "It
mean
didn't feel like that at the time," but yeah,
exactly, exactly, exactly. I'm sure. We're not in touch, but it
yeah,
doesn't. And I really want to remind everybody, it's really about you, right?
yeah,
Because it's like you're the one, although it's some external force, but you're the one who's going to make that a true message or a
yeah,
or a false message, right? So when you realize that that other person isn't powerful over you, they don't even matter at all. Like whatever he says to me, it doesn't matter. I've already proven it to myself, and
mhm,
that's all that matters to me. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
I think
I Beyonce says it in a different way. She says the best revenge is your paper, meaning like the best way is making money, whatever. But it's like I don't necessarily mean it's like money, but it's like you've overcome, right? So
yeah.
it's like you the best revenge is that have you have broken this whatever, and you're on top. You didn't let that crush you.
Such a good place to leave it, and it's evident where your business is just now and where it's going, that you've taken your own advice and you really are moving somewhere. I cannot wait to see what you do next. So, just to tie up now, could you give us your website and your social media handles so that we can check out what you do and what's coming up this year?
Absolutely. And I also want to give a discount code to your
Lovely.
listeners.
Yes,
So
please.
we can decide what that code can be, but it will be a 15% off if they want to try it.
Fantastic.
We try the products, definitely subscribe to the newsletters to get a lot of the advice and stuff, or resources that are just not only product, but just like things that can help you, my thinking, like things that I've done to help me, because it's a constant work. It's not a one and done. You always have to keep reinventing yourself or
Yeah.
keep getting better. So my social media is SoulBalm Sisters, SISTERS.com. That's my website. And then we're on Instagram, Soul Balm Sisters. We are also on YouTube at Soul Balm Sisters. We are also on TikTok, Soul Balm Sisters, Twitter. No, we're not on Twitter, but
I know.
Pinterest, yeah.
Twitter used to be fun. I think you're right. Just to stick with the fun ones.
Yeah.
Oh, Wanny, it's been so lovely talking with you. So we will keep a lookout for everything. And as I say, well, as you said, I think it's a good idea if we subscribe. I'm going to do that today. I'll get on the subscriptions and look forward to seeing what you do next.
Thank you so much, and good luck to you and whatever
Oh,
you're trying to do, putting out this type of content for people. And I'm so proud to be a part of your journey, and I
thank you.
really appreciate it. It's been wonderful connecting with
Oh,
you.
thank you so much.